So in this video, we're going to be talking about most commonly asked beginner focused uh, question. So this thing is called a rotation of the array, or we can also name it as rotate the array or array rotation. So it revolves around the word rotation. So what does this problem actually mean? So in our case, I've defined a function. I've defined a function called a rotate array. It takes into arguments array and the rotation count. The array is simply the array of integers, and the rotation count is also an integer. Let's say 3. So the input looks like this, and the rotation count looks like this, and the resultant array is this. So what happens is that the amount of numbers in the array which are equal to rotation count, in our case, which is 3, are being removed from the front side of the array and placed at the rear end. So if you can see in this input 1 to 3 is being placed at the end. So that's called array rotation. So if this would have been 2, the 3 would have been at the front, and first two elements would have been taken out from the input array and then placed at the end of the array. So how do we approach this problem? So how can we solve it using JavaScript? So in our case, we're going to use JavaScript to solve the issue. So in this thing, what we're going to do is we are going to first of all, let's say const rotated array. This thing is going to be the value of array.splice. So what's splice? Splice is an inbuilt function that comes with JS for arrays. It removes elements from an array and if necessary inserts new elements in their place, returning the deleted elements. So our algorithm is going to be something like this. We start from 0 and we delete, or we can say we go up to rotation count, rotation underscore count, and let's console log rotated array. Let's run this. So rotated array has 3 elements there, 1, 2, and 3, because our rotation count is 3 and the array passed is this. Okay, so now we want these 3 elements at the last of the array. So since the argument which was passed to the rotated function was an array and we performed the splice operation on that array, if we're going to print this array here, it's going to be something like this. So it doesn't have the first 3 elements because the first 3 elements were spliced from this array. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply return an array, an empty array, and this empty array is going to have the array which is spliced right now and the rotated array. So if we are going to run this function, this is going to give us okay, rotated array. So this is going to give us the resultant array of something like this. So the first one is array. I spread the first array. I need to spread the second also, so that it gets combined into one array. And there we go. We get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. So what if I increase the rotation count to 5? So it's gonna put the first 5 elements at the end and then the resultant array at the front. So what if my value is 8? So it's going to give me the same elements as the argument array, the original array. So we have some edge cases here. So let's say if the rotation count passed was 0. So we need to handle those edge cases. So we can say if rotation count triple equals 0, return null. Or we can also return the original array here. and but we'll return null in our case so that we know that it's working. And if a rotation count is greater than array dot length, original array dot length, so let's say the rotation count is 10 and the original length is 8, in that case we are going to return null. Okay, so let's run this program and see the output. We get null because the rotation count is greater than the length of the array. Let's pass in 0. We get null because 0 is 0 shouldn't be a rotation count if you're rotating anything. Or let's do one thing. If it's 0, let's return the array. Return the same array that was passed in as an input. Okay, 0 means don't rotate it. Okay, if we pass in 1, it gets rotated. 1 gets to the end and the other elements remain at the front. So these are the edge cases that we have passed. One more edge case could be there. We can say if array dot length triple equals 0, return 0. So if the array is empty, we run the function, we get null. Why do we get null here? If rotation count is greater than array dot length. Okay, so this thing is satisfying the equation. Let's say we put it here in the beginning so that we don't reach here, so it's going to return us 0. Okay, so I think these are the most common edge cases. I'm not sure of all the edge cases that might arise here, but if you guys think there are more edge cases that need to be taken care of, please mention those edge cases in the comments below. And let's run it with some other input like 1 2 3 5. Let's run it with 1. So that's how you perform array rotations using JS.